Samson, thank you very much. For those watching, this is a very important subject because this is about you. Once this 5G infrastructure is undertaken and developed and the MNOs are able to utilize it, what it will mean is that we will be having 5G on our phones and on all the electrical gadgets we use that requires internet. And so for every data you buy, for every call you make, the money you are going to pay, the people the money will be going to, that is what we are discussing. That is what the topic is about. This entity called NextGen Infraco is going to have 62.5% of that money you are going to pay for data. You are going to pay for the cost you make, at least the wholesale price of that, which your telco will be transferring to you with their added cost and margins. So this is about you. Now, the opacity point is important, and I want to just say something about it. You see, over the years, what we have done is that when we want to develop our spectrum, it was so with 4G. What do? We auction it. Transparent, competitive. Okay, so highest bidder buys it. Now, the rationale is that, or the concern is that MTN is so strong that it's become a monopoly, and once you auction, it is always going to be MTN and MTN alone which can buy. So now government says we are not going to auction again. We now want a consortium of several private players in the industry.
7 of them.
7 of them to come together and then own a significant portion of this. But the point is that if that is what you want to do, okay, I will not even fault the rationale, but that is what you want to do, and you have nothing to hide, do it with a sense of transparency. Put out a request for proposals, an RFP. Allow for companies who think they have the wherewithal to bid. We did it in the case of PDS when we're looking for a consortium to run ECG. Even though when they took over, they ended up giving it to cronies. But if you look at the procurement process we started, Miracle and all that international local companies took advantage and said, we want to be part of the consortium. That is what you do when you have good motives and nothing to hide. In this case, nothing of that nature was done. In the dark and with the speed of light, certain entities have been put together and given almost 95% of this 5G. No tender, no request for proposal, no transparent process.
We are told they are the experts within the industry.
The only experts? How? And they say, well, we did that because we don't want MTN to have a monopoly. But if that is what you want to do, in the RFP, you can state that MNOs are disallowed, so that the mobile network operators like MTN will not even participate in the bid. Because there are many other companies who can do that. You've given them no opportunity. Number 2 is the illegality.
So you want to stop monopoly, but you're creating a monopoly.
Another monopoly, and you're creating it in the dark. The second point is that if you want to give out 5G, no problem. This is a purely procurement matter. Government engaging other third parties in a contract. That contract is governed by law. One of those laws is the Public Financial Management Act.
Right.
Section 33 is clear that if the government, if a covered entity, and the National Communications Authority, NCA, is a covered entity, and that law says that if a covered entity, in this case the NCA, is engaging in any contracts for more than 1 year, the law says multi-year contract, which has a financial commitment on government, it must go to Parliament for approval. I've heard some say that, oh, there is no financial commitment on government on this. I said, really? The government has 7% stake. How is government going to fund that 7% stake? So there is a clear financial commitment because government, as a shareholder, must inject equity. Why won't you take it to Parliament if you have nothing to hide? That you incorporate this special purpose vehicle, within 1 week, executive approval is given by the president who gives executive approval.
1 week of the formation of the company.
Yes.
But because it's an SPV.
We know that. We know that, so they will obviously not have experience, we know that. But if they apply for a license for this, inclusive of the day the letter was sent to NCA, and inclusive of the day the reply was sent to them, so 2 days. Look at the alacrity, the speed This is something that other players have sought to explore. The government has said, no way, keep your money.
The government is in there, so it's very easy to get what you want. So, as far as lines
so why won't you open it up? Why is it that there was no request for proposals, no tender? Why is it that other interested entities were not allowed to compete for this stake? Why is it that it has not been sent to Parliament when the law is clear? And you read this is worse than SML. If you read the SML, the KPMG report on SML, it's clear. Multi-year contracts must go to...
I was surprised to hear Afenyo Makin suggest that there's no need for parliamentary approval. He went to quote Article 181. I don't know why.
He doesn't understand it.
It's not subject to Article 181. It's subject to the...
Section 33. And then, senior, number 3, that's my last but one point. Lack of value for money. You want to sell 5G. Then they decide that they will sell it, that the right for it to be, the spectrum to be developed, they will sell it for $125 million. How did they come by that figure, $125 million? What went into it? Nigeria has sold just one block of its 5G for $257 million. Yes, Nigeria is a bigger market. You can't compare that to Ghana.
So that's the question. But how did you come to the 400 to 500 million dollars?
I'm saying that you say so now hold on. Nigeria sold two blocks, each at $257 million. They have 4 blocks that they want to sell. We have sold, giving basically total monopoly, everything to this NextGen Infraco people for 125. They don't tell you how they arrive at the 125. They don't allow for bidding so that you can get a competitive price. And they say that that is good. And they give this company a sweetheart deal where they will have 10 years to do work and pay. Like you buy your car or abuboya and give it to somebody to do work and pay. Which company in this country has been given spectrum license and has been allowed to do work and pay? Work and pay. Some say you and I can do work and pay for this 5G, you know. Because if we go to any bank that the government has given us contract supported by executive approval from the president, give us a loan to do 5G, and within 10 years we'll do work and pay, we will get. Anybody can do it. Why do you do this? No value for money. Right. And lastly, is the questionable reputation of the entities behind this. Because we are talking about the lead company in this consortium is the company called Ascend Digital. Do you recall the COVID-19 tracker app? Do you recall that Oslausu at Hervetten told Parliament and by extension the whole country that that app was done by some benevolent Ghanaians at no cost whatsoever to the states?
That's right.
Do you know that Ascend Digital was the company behind that app? And you know that the Commonwealth Foundation, in their documentations on the funds they gave us to battle the COVID-19 pandemic, are emphatic that over $1 million was spent on this app, which offered no use or value to the people of this country. We spent $1 million on it.
That affects their expertise?
That calls into question their credibility.
Okay.
And aside that, the same people behind that Ascend Digital are the same people behind the infamous Kelly GVG deal. Okay. And Bryce Simmons has spoken, at length about the same thing.
Yes,
so
Sylvester,
this thing is bad for me. It is state capture.
How do you answer all of these
state capture?
Well, and people look at the company